So this is our fifth lecture in multivariate linear models. In the last two lectures, we have focused on estimation of the b parameter in the multivariate linear model y is equal to xb plus e. First, we looked at a problem when there was no restriction on b, and then we looked at a problem where there is a linear restriction given by b pre-multiplied by a matrix A, which is a full row rank. So AB is equal to 0. That was the linear restriction. Now, if we recall our earlier discussion, we will see that one crucial assumption was that capital X matrix that was assumed to be of full column rank. That facilitated much of the computation. So we in the process saw that there are the entire argument set of arguments that depends crucially on use of projection matrices. But the fact that this capital X matrix was a full column rank played a crucial role in the computation steps of algebraic calculation. So the question is, as we recall that in, for instance, ANOVA models. In ANOVA models, there is typically the capital X matrix is not of full column rank. So therefore, we have to modify our method. We have to address that question now. So estimation of the beta B matrix subject to linear restrictions given by AB is equal to 0 when X is not of full column rank. That's what we plan to do in this lecture. So this is the fifth lecture on multivariate linear models, and the question that we are addressing, it is this. So this is the linear model we are considering. Y is equal to xb plus e. X is a design matrix, it's of size n cross p, and this B matrix is of size p cross d. And the question that we are bothered about for the last this lecture and the last preceding two lectures is that estimation of this B matrix subject to this restriction, where this capital A is the restriction and is a matrix version of the restriction, and it is known Q cross P matrix of rank Q. So it's a full row rank matrix. Now we have addressed this question in the preceding two lectures also. If we remember, in our calculation, one of the crucial assumption is that in our calculation was that rank of X is equal to P. That is, this X matrix which is of size n cross P, it was assumed to be of full column rank. Now let us recall our univariate linear model. This, when we have y is equal to x beta plus epsilon, X is typically not a full column rank matrix. One way ANOVA model, two way ANOVA model, etc. There we see that this capital X matrix is not a full column rank. So therefore, the technical calculation, algebraic calculation that we had earlier, they are no longer valid. So we have to have suitable modification of our method. So that's what we plan to do now, without having to impose the condition that rank of X is P. We go ahead, try to find out expression for least square estimate of B subject to this restriction. And as we saw earlier, we shall see here in this lecture also that projection matrices, rather orthogonal projection, play a very, very crucial role. So let's see what the model is. Our model is y is equal to xb plus e. We have been seeing it for quite some time now. X is the design matrix of size n cross p. B is p cross d. X, there is no assumption about the rank of X now. It could be P, it could be strictly less than P. And the rows of Y, this Y1 transpose through Yn transpose, are denoted by this, and the columns are this. Let us recall that if we recall the first row, it is actually a vector of observations for the first sampling unit, and there are d response variables. That's the multivariate part really. And if we look at the first column of the Y matrix, this is the n independent measurement on the first response variable for n sampling units. And what about the B? B is, if we remember this, B is written as beta 1 through beta superscript d. The rows of the capital E matrix is denoted by epsilon 1 transpose to epsilon n transpose, and the columns are epsilon superscript 1 up to epsilon superscript d. As if we are treating separate multivariate univariate linear model. One is this yi is equal to b transpose xi, and this is another yj is equal to x beta j, right? So this is as if there are d separate variables. For each of the variable I have a vector of n observation, and that particular univariate linear model is given by this. And what are the assumptions about the capital E matrix? The rows correspond to different sampling units. So they are assumed to have expectation 0, dispersion sigma, and covariance 0. That means they are uncorrelated. So this is the more or less a straightforward extension of the assumptions that we make in univariate linear model. All right. Now if we recall our univariate linear model, when we test lambda prime beta is equal to 0, we demanded this lambda prime beta to be an estimable function. In other words, if we test lambda prime beta is equal to 0, that lambda prime beta has to be estimable, and equivalently this lambda prime should be an element in the row space of the capital X matrix. So therefore, when X is not a full row rank, then if we look at AI, what is AB? AB is really the rows of capital A, that is the AI A1 transpose up to AN transpose, AQ transpose, post multiplied by the respective columns of B, that is those are denoted by B superscript 1 up to B superscript D. So therefore, if X is not a full column rank, then we must necessarily assume this AI transpose beta j must be estimable, and this should happen for every I. So in other words, we assume that each row must be a linear combination of the rows of capital X. Otherwise, if for some I, AI transpose is not a linear combination of the rows of capital X, then what happens? AI transpose beta j cannot be tested. This is not a constraint really, but instead acts as an identifiability restriction. This we have taken from Saber's book. If we are not perceiving this aspect here, this identifiability and estimability, a good discussion connecting identifiability and estimability can be found in Christensen's book. There are several editions. In the 4th edition, we can look at the book. Title of the book is Plain Answers to Complex Questions, The Theory of Linear Models. This appeared in 2011, 4th edition. One can have a look at the first 1 or 2 chapters. Then the discussion about connecting identifiability and estimability is available there. So now that we are assuming that these rows of A, they are estimable, so we assume that A is actually a X pre-multiplied by M. So because rows of A are linear combination of rows of X, so we must have A is equal to Mx, where A is a Q cross N matrix. Let's see what the assumption that we have about A, what it leads to in relation to rank of M. Q is equal to rank of A by assumption, A is equal to Mx, so this identity holds. Now rank of Mx, Q is equal to rank of A, rank of Mx less than is equal to, we have to be alert here. This calculation, we are going to change. This calculation, actually we have made a small mistake here, so we shall replace this slide. So we shall have here rank of M is equal to Q, because Q is equal to rank A, which is same as rank of Mx less than is equal to rank of, we have to check this part. So anyway, what I wish to point out is that from this identity, from this assumption A is equal to Mx, and the fact that A has rank Q, we can show that rank of M also is Q. This is a crucial fact that we shall need in our subsequent calculation. So let us look at this condition, AB is equal to 0 in presence of this A is equal to Mx. What does it mean? So if we recall our early calculation, we see that this AB is equal to 0, this condition that we transformed into 1, or rather tried to express in terms of, not in terms of B, but in terms of XB. So that's what we did. What is XB? XB is expectation of Y. Now that expectation of Y is XB, which means each of the column of Y, its expectation is an element of the column space of X. That's what it means. And we cannot say more because we do not know anything about the rank of X. We only know that it is at most B. So let's see. So we see that 0 is equal to AB, the assumption. That's what we are we are trying to find out the least square estimate of B subject to this restriction. AB is equal to Mx. AB is equal to Mx. There should be a B here. MXB. MXB, now once I write mxb, x is same as px into x. Why? Because what is px? Px is the projection matrix onto the column space of x. So if I separately apply px to each column of x, I shall get back the same column. So therefore 0 is equal to ab is equal to mxb is equal to mpxxb. What does it mean? So it means if we write down in place of xb is equal to theta, the expectation of y, we see that this restriction ab is equal to 0 can be written as mpx theta is equal to 0. Now if we write down this mpx theta, px is symmetric, etc. So this first two terms in this product, this is px m transpose of that times theta. So what does it mean? It means each of the column of theta, it is orthogonal to the rows of px m transpose of transpose. So therefore it is orthogonal to the columns of px m transpose. So what does it mean? So I am looking at only those theta. Now theta by definition is xb. So therefore the columns of theta lie in column space of x. In addition, they lie in column space of px m transpose, orthocomplement of that, because of this restriction. So I repeat my argument. Each of the column of theta that is orthogonal to the rows of this matrix, that is the columns of this px m transpose. So that therefore each column is an element of the orthogonal complement of the columns of px m transpose. So that's what I have written here. So we therefore have to minimize y minus theta transpose y minus theta as a function of theta, subject to the columns of theta lying in this space v is equal to script x, column space of x intersection. Now let's see where we have gone to. We have seen that earlier in our first problem, when there was no restriction on b, we didn't have we had an unrestricted minimization problem, and also x was of assumed to be a full column rank. What was our primary observation? One of the primary observations was that column space of x played a very crucial role there. Basically, we were projecting each column of y onto the column space of x. So what we have seen earlier, therefore the projection matrix px onto the column space cx played a crucial role in the process of minimization while obtaining the unrestricted least squares estimator of b. In the preceding steps, we formulated the problem of constraint minimization of b as one of unconstrained minimization. How? Now the role earlier cx was playing, now it is the same role is played by this v, which is given by cx intersection something. So therefore it is essentially now if we can get hold of a suitable expression for the projection onto v, then we are done. So therefore, once we have identified this vector subspace, so that therefore the problem of finding constrained least square estimator of b can be addressed in exactly the same way as the one of unconstrained estimation, with PV playing the role that PX played earlier. So what is the next agenda? Our agenda should now be to try to find an expression for P of E in terms of x and a. So what we do now? We try to find out expression for PV in terms of x and a. So we introduce this. Recall that this is playing a crucial role now. Our V is script of C of x intersection C of this and orthocomplement of that. Before that, there is a small technical fact. So what it is, we should recall that. So we shall see there is a small technical fact. Suppose we show that C is of full column rank. There is a reason we are doing it. Suppose we write 0 is equal to Cu. Cu is Px m transpose U, which means m transpose U is pre-multiplied by Px takes me to 0. When does it happen? When m transpose U is an element of the orthocomplement of Cx. That means m transpose U is orthogonal to Cx. So therefore A transpose mu, which is same as x transpose m transpose mu, is equal to 0. Why this A transpose is equal to x transpose m transpose? We know that. Why this is equal to 0? Because of this restriction, this kind of fact. M transpose U is orthogonal to column space of x. So this is equal to 0 implies U is equal to 0. This last equality, this U is equal to 0, being a consequence of the fact that A is a full row rank. So this shows C also is a full column rank. Alright. So therefore we have to, what was our agenda? Our agenda was to obtain an expression for PV in terms of x and a. So what is PV? Let us remember again. V is Cx intersection orthocomplement of something. That without the orthocomplement, that something is actually a space sitting in Cx. So therefore PV is equal to Px minus Pc. That's a standard fact of linear algebra. So we write down mechanically the C is Pc is equal to C transpose C inverse C transpose. C in place of C I write down Px M transpose. I do this calculation, we finally get this. What is the new thing that we have in the expression? Now new thing is this X transpose X bar, that is which is a generalized inverse of X transpose X. The only thing that we should notice here, that here in this case, here we are writing X transpose is equal to X transpose Px. There's a reason we are doing it. It will be clear in a moment. This is we are doing it. Why we are doing it will be clear in a moment. But the fact that this is equal to this is a consequence of the fact that Px is equal to X. So if we take the transpose of this, we get X transpose is equal to X transpose Px transpose, which is same as X transpose Px, because Px is symmetric. So we get this PV is equal to this. We are almost done. We have a neat expression for the projection matrix onto V in terms of X and A. And in addition, there is one thing that I should mention is that G inverse is typically not unique, but whatever be your choice of G inverse, this entire expression is unique. In fact, the second one is unique. So let's see what we did earlier. We introduced two objects. One is a least squares estimator of B subject to AB is equal to 0. We called it BH hat. Recall the H is to emphasize the point that AB is equal to 0 actually is something like is a hypothesis. So BH hat, and as we did earlier, least square estimator of theta is XB subject to AB is equal to 0, that is given by theta hat H, and it is same as XBH hat. Exactly same as our univariate theory, the expressions. And our preceding arguments and steps imply this theta hat H is Y pre-multiplied by PV, because we have now identified the appropriate vector space where we should project Y, the columns of Y on, and theta hat is the least square estimate of XB when there is no restriction. There is a small typographical mistake here. It will be corrected. Let's see. So what we have seen, therefore there are four objects. One is BH hat, XBH hat denoted by theta H hat, then B hat least square estimate without restriction, and the corresponding XB hat is theta hat. So these four we should remember. We have also seen this PV is equal to etc. So therefore if we now look at this XBH hat, this is PV of Y. So we should PVY is just mechanically multiplying both sides of this equality by post multiplying by Y. So PVY is equal to PXY X etc. X transpose PXY. Now this quantity is theta H hat, this is theta hat etc. So we get this. So what do we get? We get XBH hat is equal to XB hat etc 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 minus etc. The only thing that I should remind here that again this is a G inverse of X transpose X, not necessarily unique, but the expression turns out to be unique whatever be our choice. And here I can write inverse because we have seen that already this is a non-singular matrix. So we have an expression for XBH hat. Alright, so let's go to the previous slide. So this is something we have to work with now, because our goal is not just, one goal is certainly to look at a projection of the individual columns of Y onto the appropriate space, and also we need an expression for BH hat. So we shall prove this. That actually this complicated looking expression appearing in the previous slide, this turns out to be so simple. How? So what we do, we just substitute A is equal to mx, right? And then we see that it equals, if we mechanically write A is equal to mx, we get first of all this to turn, then X transpose M transpose, right? This doesn't change, this also doesn't change. Alright, so what A is equal to mx here, so basically this expression and this expression, the only distinction is in between. You mechanically we write down for A mx, or here A transpose is X transpose M transpose. Now let us look at this expression. In this case, this X transpose X bar X transpose is Px. Then I have M transpose, this doesn't change. Here I have M. If we look at this part, X transpose X bar X transpose, that is Px X beta. So I get here therefore X transpose Px M transpose, this inverse M Px X beta. Now notice that Px is the orthogonal projection onto the column space of X. So Px of X must be X. Why? Because any column, once it is projected, any column of X, once it is projected to the column space of X, it will go to the same column. And similarly here, because Px of X is equal to X, so I shall get, and Px is symmetric, I shall get here X transpose Px is X transpose. So therefore this expression simplifies to X transpose M transpose A etc. Finally again going back to A is equal to mx, we get this A transpose A X transpose X bar A transpose inverse A B transpose. The last but one inequality is coming from the fact that is this, not this one but this one, from this to this coming from is a consequence of Px is equal to X and Px transpose is equal to Px. Alright. So let's see how far we have proceeded. We have seen this. That we saw on a short in the last but the one slide, one before the previous one, and we also saw this. So what we do in view of this, we mechanically in this expression we substitute this. So what we get, and we pre-multiply then both side by X transpose. So I get X transpose X BH, X transpose X beta hat. Now if I multiply this side X transpose etc., I get this. So therefore I just substitute this here A beta hat. That's it. So let us look at this expression carefully. What we got, X transpose X BH hat is equal to X transpose X B hat minus A transpose A X transpose X bar A transpose inverse A B hat. The only thing that we have to alert about is we are using a G inverse here, and let us remember that in the full rank situation when X was assumed to be a full column rank, we had inverse here. So basically we have extended this formula that was derived under the assumption X is a full column rank. We have proved an exactly similar result in the non-full rank situation. So we have gone quite far. So now the question is, what is the next goal? What is the next goal is to have at least an expression for BH hat. We have been able to have expression for X BH hat. We saw BH hat is another thing. That's what we need. We need at least one. We know that this is not going to be unique because X is no longer a full column rank. But anyway, you can have an expression for that. So what we do, let's go back to the previous slide. I pre-multiply. So I look at X transpose X BH hat minus B hat. So therefore X transpose X BH hat minus B hat, it is this. So therefore BH hat minus B hat, what should be that? It is this matrix post pre-multiplied by a G inverse of X transpose X. So therefore BH hat minus B hat is X transpose X bar, it is this, A transpose etc. So how did we obtain this? Let's explain again. From this we take this first term to the left hand side. I get X transpose X BH hat minus B hat within bracket. Then we have this right hand side. So now we can this X transpose X something gives this. So this something is equal to B hat X transpose X bar post multiply by this. So this is one possible expression for the least square estimate of B subject to AB is equal to 0. Only thing that we have to be again alert about is that this need not be unique, because this is not unique. An expression, now we finally recall that in univariate theory we also test lambda prime beta is equal to not 0 but some constant, say C. So we also look at estimation of AB is equal to 0 assumed to be a consistent system. That means there is at least one B so that AB is equal to C. Once we have this estimation of this least square estimator of B subject to this, we simply mechanically replace this by AB hat minus C. Since this is not one can do it without too much of additional technical work, so we are skipping this part of the discussion. Details leading to this expression are available in Sever's book, page 404 and 405. Let me tell you again that we are very much dependent on and taken our content from Sever's book. So what we have done in this lecture, we are continuing with the discussion on estimation of B matrix, B parameter matrix B in the linear model y is equal to xp plus e. Initially we estimated B when there was no restriction on B. Then we estimated the B matrix subject to linear restriction given by AB is equal to 0. And if we recall our knowledge of univariate linear model, there testing for lambda prime beta is equal to 0, where lambda could be a row vector, lambda prime could be a row vector or a matrix. These are the standard questions there. So if we want to address similar question here, we have to have a least square estimation procedure and expression for estimate of B subject to AB is equal to 0. Now the crucial assumption in our preceding lecture when we addressed the same question was that the capital X matrix was a full column rank. It was an assumption. So besides the use of projection matrices, that specific assumption had a crucial role in the algebraic steps. So now in this lecture we have addressed the same question but relaxing the assumption that capital X is a full column rank. Let us also remember that we also test whether lambda prime beta is equal to a given vector, say C. So here we have done the same problem. At the end we did not present detail for that because it is more or less easily doable when you have the results for AB is estimation for least square estimation of B subject to AB is equal to 0. That can be modified to when AB is equal to C. So that's what we have stated at the end. So basically it's a linear least square estimation of B matrix subject to linear restriction when X is not assumed to be a full column rank. That's what we have done in this talk. And we saw that here also idea projection matrices and projection matrices themselves played a very crucial role.